y'all, and welcome to today's video. I bought the full Morphe Meredith Duxbury collaboration. I bought both of the palettes, the lip products, the gloss, the primer, the brows. We are going to try it all out together. We're gonna do two looks with the large palette. We're gonna try the primer, the brows, the lips. We're gonna do a look with the smaller palette. I'm gonna give you kind of my first, second impression, thoughts on these things. We're gonna talk about it. Let's jump into it. I love supporting other creators. I love supporting women. I have not bought a Morphe palette in so many years. So when I saw that they were collaborating with Meredith Duxbury and we had, a rainbow palette with some neutrals, not just that, but a full collection, I thought, you know what? Let me test it, let me try it, let me create some looks, tell y'all my thoughts. So today, that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna do 3 looks and I'm gonna give you kind of my first impression thoughts on these products. I do always follow up after a few weeks, after I've tested, tried things more, and give you a full review. So let's kind of talk about the things in this collection. We'll start off by talking about the palette. Now, I have to say, I really like this packaging. I was quite impressed when I unboxed this. It has like water droplets here, and if you feel, they are textured, like they are raised. I think this packaging is definitely a step up from what I have expected and know Morphe to be. So I was pretty impressed when I saw this palette. Now, the sheet just fell out, but there is a sheet that goes over this that gives you ideas on like pictorials on eye looks you can create, but it's also kind of sectioned out in the palette as well. So let me show you a close-up and swatches of this palette. I did my best to swatch all 35 shades. This is 5 shimmer shades and 30 mattes. So it is a very matte heavy palette. We do have all the colors of the rainbow here: red, orange, yellow, green, indigo, violet, blue, and then we do have some warm browns and we have some gray tones here. All of the shimmer shades are on the neutral side. We have a silver, a white, and gold kind of shimmers. So I have already played with this palette. I'm gonna be showing you 2 looks with this one here in just a bit. There's a note from Meredith here and then her signature. Now I will go ahead and let you know that I'm gonna be creating looks with all of this in the makeup style I like. I'm gonna use these products how I like, the looks I like to do. I'm not super duper familiar with Meredith. I know she is a huge creator on TikTok, and I recently started following her on Instagram. She is absolutely gorgeous. There is also a smaller palette. So this is the Multi Effects palette. So it's that same really nice packaging where you can kind of like feel the texture of the water droplets. Opening it up, this is a neutral palette. So that's what I'm going to use to create my look today. And we have these shimmers and mattes, so we'll use this in a bit, but let me go ahead and pop up my swatches so that you can see how this palette looks. There's another note from Meredith on the inside with her signature, which I think is really cute. And I also thought we would use one of these shades as a face highlight today. See how that works out for us, especially since it says it is a multi-use product. There is a foaming face primer. So I'll show you myself applying this. This is supposed to be a primer that helps extend the wear of your makeup and just primes it for application. I was looking at the claims and that's what said, that it will help your makeup stay on longer. And if you don't know me, I have oily skin. I live in a very humid place, humid all the time. It's very hot. So if something is claiming to make my makeup last, I'm intrigued. So using this, again, I will kind of give you all my thoughts on these things at the end of the video, but I want to go ahead and show you me testing and trying them out. The next product we have is the Supreme Brow Sculpting and Shaping Wax. I tried this for this look today and for the other look where I'm using the large palette. So I'll show you, just this brow product. It does seem like it's holding my brows into place really well. It is a clear color. I love this type of applicator. I do have applicators like this already, and it doesn't hurt to have another one. So I bought it so I could test it and try it out. And so far, my brows are locked into place, which is what I really look for. I like when my brows stay where I put them and do not move. The other product that I have is the eye, face, and lip gloss. I have oily skin. It's not going on my eyes. I have deep set eyes. They will crease like crazy. That's just me, my skin type, my preference. I am going to be using this on the lips though, in the looks with the larger palette so that you can see how this looks. Everything I talk about, I will put links in the description box for y'all. Some of those may be affiliated links. I do put that in the description box as well. So definitely check there if you're curious about anything. But this lip duo, Feeling Gel Tip Liner in the shade Groove. And then there is also a gloss. This is the Lip Glaze in Groove, I believe. Both of these products I'm trying on. Now, this is way more of a light color than I normally go for. I do think this lip gloss has like a sweet, like vanilla type scent. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it does have a very, very nice scent. So I hope you enjoyed seeing me kind of demo and try out some of these things. For the first two looks, I am using this large palette right here. So I am going to show you my two looks with this, and then we will move in to look number 3 with this smaller palette. So yeah, I think I've shown you everything. I did purchase this collection, like I said, from the Morphe site. So let me be quiet. I have two very colorful looks to share with y'all, so let's jump into it. All right, y'all, we are going to play with the large palette, the Morphe Meredith Duxbury, the big 35 pan palette today, but I do want to use this clear gloss with y'all. So I went ahead and just put on the lip liner from the duo. So this is Groove, the Soulmate Filling Gel Lip Liner. That's what I have on my lips already. So I thought we would do the gloss together. Eye, face, and lip gloss. We're going to use it as a lip gloss. So this is what the applicator looks like. I'm just going to put some on my lips and just put it on with my finger. Definitely like a clear gloss. Not for me and my face with my oily skin in a humid place. My hair would just stick to it, but pretty clear gloss. Okay, let me put down my eyeshadow primer base, and we're gonna do a look here and then we'll do a look here. I do already have a little bit of mascara on from earlier in the day, so if you see that, it's all right. It's all right. It's not going to get in the way of our shadow. So I'm going to throw down my primer and we will create something with this huge palette. Okay, for this look, I did prime my eye with my MAC Paint Pot in the shade Layin Low. And I want to test this palette working from darkest to lightest with the mattes. So this palette is a mostly mattes palette. We have 5 shimmer shades and then we have 30 matte shades. So I'm going to start off with this deep dark blue over here called Endless Nights. I'm going to pick that shadow up and I'm going to kind of press it all in the socket, and then we'll buff it out with a lighter color and see how that goes. Okay, so I've got this picked up on a brush from my Sigma set, and I'm just going to kind of like press it first. So I'm kind of stamping that shade on, and then I'll start to kind of blend back and forth a little bit. I just want to get this all right here in my socket, below, above. I'm just getting this dark kind of navy shade on, and I'm just going to do like this. I'm gonna add a little more because I want this to be really pigmented, so I'm just gonna build it up a little bit to be as intense as I like, because I love intense colorful looks. So I'm just gonna keep kind of pressing that to get it to be intense. And there we go. That's looking nice. That's coming together how I want it to. Okay, before I buff out with another shade, I do want to dip into this kind of darker blue-green right here. This is called Duxbury, her last name. I'm gonna pick that up, and I'm gonna press that right on top of the primer at the lid so that we have a nice deep dark outer corner. And I'm going to kind of layer it on top of the blue out here. So I'm bringing it from the lid where it was right on top of that primer, kind of up and out like this. And I'm not gonna worry too much about blending. I'm just gonna press it on, and then I'll take a little bit of this right here under the lower lash line, just in this outer corner, again with that deep dark shade to kind of help us create our shape of the darker colors right out here. Okay, I'm gonna go in with another brush from my Sigma set, and I'm gonna dip into this really pale lavender purple color. This is called Scrunchies, and I'm gonna use this just to kind of blend out these two shades. So I'm gonna go right here along the edges with this pastel, and I'm going to work on blending up and out. I'm just gonna pick a little bit up on my brush at a time and go back and forth. So like this, coming in. I'm not having the best luck blending right here, so let me just get a little more shadow, and I'm just gonna work on this area a little bit more and see if I can get that to blend. Okay, I did not have the easiest time blending here. I don't like love, but I do think I got it to a place where it looks nice. So I think it looks okay. I just don't think it's as easy to blend as I was hoping for, but we do have pigment, and when working with blues and blue shades, I do need pigment. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at right there. I wish I could have got an easier blend there and a little more of a blended look going with the dark than the light, but we will pull in this green shade now. This is Central Park. So I'm gonna pick that up on a flat brush, and I'm going to put this on my lower lash line. So I'm just going to kind of press the green on right here where we did not pull that deeper Duxbury shade from earlier. So I'm just gonna kind of press it on right there first so I can get the most pigment. And then once I kind of, there we go. I'm like, let me just build it up a little bit more. Once I do that, I'm going to go back and forth, back and forth. There we go, just creating a nice little fade from the green to that kind of teal blue out here. Okay, I'm going back in with that Scrunchies shade. I'm trying to kind of press and then blend a little bit just to see, because I'm not super happy with that, but I just want to see if I can add a little bit more to get it a little more seamless. But I don't know that that's happening with this shade. I don't know that that's happening with the shade, so I'm just going to leave it because it's starting to get away from me. But I want to go in with one of the shimmers from this palette. So we're going to go in with the silver called Private Party. I'm going to pick that up on my brush. I'm going to spray my brush with a little setting spray, makeup mist, whatever you want to use. Just something to make the shimmer even more intense. Okay, I'm going to take the silver shade and I'm going to press it onto my lid first. So I'm just pressing it on like that. That's pretty. It's got some sparkle to it. So I'm just going to kind of blend like that and make sure I get it kind of from inner part of my lid on out. I'm even going to carry it up over the dark blue that we laid down, kind of right here in our socket, then down here to our lid. But I'm not going to have it cover up the outer corner. And I think that looks pretty. It looks like a nice silver shimmer. You can kind of see the sparkle there. And once I get that down, I'm ready to highlight the inner corner. I do like the way the silver and the navy look together. There you go. Okay, I want to highlight the inner corner. I'm going to see if I can build this silver up just a little bit more. I'm going to press it on. And then when I get done pressing, then I'll kind of blend to make sure I get in all my little wrinkles and crinkles here. Okay, for the inner corner, I want to use this yellow. I think this is going to be really pretty with the blue, the silver, the green, and we'll go with this matte inner corner vibe. So I'm picking this up and I'm going to press it on first. That's pretty. Okay. All right. I'm going to go in with a little bit more. And then I'm just going to kind of lightly blend like this. All right. Okay. All right. I'm going to press on just a little bit more right there. Yellow is such a light color, so I really want to make sure I don't overblend and I have it pressed on. But I think this is where we're going to leave the look for now. Let me go back to this and see if I can blend a little bit more. But we're going to leave the look here. This is going to be one of our looks. I am, of course, going to do liner and a lash, but I want to do this eye first. So here we have our blue, silver, yellow, green eye. And I'm going to put down my eyeshadow primer over here. I'm going to grab a different eyeshadow base so we can test this palette with different eyeshadow primers. MAC Paint Pot is like a holy grail for me. I'm going to grab another holy grail, the Sigma Ignite eyeshadow primer, and we'll use that over here. Okay, so I've got my eyeshadow primer down. I've got my E25. And since we kind of started with the darkest shade, or a very dark shade over here, I want to kind of start with a light shade here and then work like from light to dark and see how that goes. So I'm going to grab my massive palette and we're going to start with this kind of peachy pink color right here. This is called the Hamptons. Okay, so I've got the shadow on my brush. And I'm going to kind of press the shadow on like this, and then I'm going to go in and blend and just kind of work that shade back and forth. I'm going to bring this up a good bit higher than my socket, kind of up here in the crease. Well, one of my creases with my deep set eyes. I'm going to really pull this out so that this color is a little like a little blown out, you know, high and coming out far like this. All right, we have that shade on, and I want to pull in this hot pink color. I'm going to use one of my blinged brushes, and the name of the shade is UES with a little like asterisk next to it. So I'm going to press this shade on. Again, I just want to get so much pigment. I want the colors to be bold and intense. So I'm just kind of layering that on like this. And then once I have it pressed off of my brush, I'm going to slowly start to blend and see how our kind of shades mesh together. I'm going to pull it out like this, back and forth. I definitely feel like I would have gotten more pigment had I started with this hot pink, but I wanted to try different kind of techniques for the shadow with these two looks so I could really kind of get a feel for this palette, you know? Okay, I want to go in with the red now and deepen up our outer corner. So I'm going to take this shade right here called Lobster Roll, and we're going to put that in the outer corner. So the shape and the kind of placement that I'm doing with my shadow is going to be same side to side. I'm just started with that light shade first, but I want to keep kind of this whole shape the same over here. I like to do that when I'm doing two different eye looks. I like to kind of keep them consistent. That's a pretty red. That is a pretty red, and that is pigmented. That shade is the best one I've used so far. That is impressive. That's really pretty. All right, I'm gonna put that on like this, just kind of pressing it right there at the lash line, then kind of bringing it up and out, and a little bit under the lower lash line. So let me just press it right here in this outer part, blend it down and around like this, kind of pull it out. That's really pretty. I'm able to layer it up really well to make it intense, which is really nice. I'm going to go back with that pink brush and kind of make sure I have a nice blend here. Yeah, there we go. I'm digging that. Okay, I don't want a monochromatic look, so I'm going to pull in a kind of contrasting shade. Listen, we've got options. I want to grab in this shade right here. I'm like, let me make sure you can see. This is called Hudson, and this looks to be a really pretty blue color. So I'm gonna pick it up on a brush from my Sigma set, and I'm really going to press it on just like we did with the green shade. And then once I kind of have most of the shade pressed onto the lower lash line off of my brush, then I will go and I will blend. And I'm going to pick up a little more shadow and just press right there. And then blend, blend, blend. That's really cute. I like the blue and the red together down on the lower lash line. I think that's fun. I think it adds a nice little contrast, but you could definitely carry just the red under here if you wanted something that was just these pink and red tones. I like to mix it up. I like to mix it up and give you some inspiration of my own. Okay, I'm into that. Let's pick out a lid color. Let's pick out a lid color right here. I'm gonna make sure I get a nice little blend, make a little purple color right here where blue and red mix, so that we just have a nice fade. But let me put a shimmer on the lid just like we did over here. Now for the shimmer, I'm gonna go into this white shade right here called Hot Glam. It looks like a white, and it looks like it has some like gold, silver kind of sparkle reflect in there. So I'm going to pick it up on my brush. Again, I'm going to spray my brush with setting spray, makeup mist, whatever you want to use, and we'll put it in the same place that we did this silver right here. Okay, so I've got that on my brush, and I'm going to press first. I did pick up a good bit of shadow on my brush before I sprayed it because I really want intensity out of this shade. I don't want anything sheer. For me, I'm going to really kind of press, like you see, I'm going to press that on kind of over where we brought the pink shade down, on the lid where I don't have any shadow down, just the eye primer. And after pressing it on like that, then I'm going to slowly kind of blend again, just to make sure I get all my little crinkles covered up. I'm going to pick up a little more shadow and dust like that. I can definitely see the sparkle in this one. I think that is pretty. Nice shimmer with a little extra sparkle to it. Back and forth like that. And buffing it. I'm going to use a little bit more. I'm going to try to build this up a little bit. I think it looks pretty. I just want it to be like fully opaque. So I'm going to keep dipping into the pan and layering it until I get it to look how I want. But I really like the way it looks going from the pink down to right here. I think that is looking nice. And I'll go back in with this brush, blend a little bit more. Okay, I am going to grab this light shade right here. Not fully white, kind of like this really light cream color. This one has more of like a yellow tint undertone to it. So I'm going to stick with this one right here that's a little bit lighter, and this is called Crumpet. I'm going to use another brush from my Sigma set. And I'm going to press this right here to give us a matte bright inner corner highlight, kind of how we did over here. So I'm just going to build that up a little bit, blend, and then this will be the finished look number 2 with this palette. So I'm going to go back and forth like this. There we go. I'm going to clean up any fallout. I'm going to put on liner and a lash, and we'll see how this look turns out. I'm going to see if I need to do any more blending. I'm done blending over here because I feel like every time I try to blend more, it's just like really getting carried away. So I'm just going to see if over here I need to do any more blending, and I will be right back to show you kind of how the look comes together with the lash. But these are our finished looks right here. I wanted to do, you know, different colors: blues, greens, silvers, yellows, blues, reds, pinks, whites over here. Okay, y'all, here are the finished looks. Our more blue look, our more pink look. I am wearing the lip liner and the clear gloss that you saw me apply. I'm also wearing the brow clear Supreme Brow Sculpting and Shaping Wax, and I use the little applicator for that. The other, or some of the other products I have on, I should say, I did put on black eyeliner and some Miami lashes from Lilly Lashes. My blush, I actually mixed my Dior Rosy Glow blushes in Rosewood and Berry. And then for highlighter, I have on my Unearthly, I don't know, I'm like reading the label. My Unearthly Highlighter Duo, my collab Resurgence. I have both shades mixed. So we will talk about kind of my thoughts at the end of this video. I will say I like both of my looks. The blues definitely took some work kind of building and blending a little more than I'm used to with some other palettes that I have. But overall, I think it looks very pretty. I mean, blue and silver is a color combo that I really enjoy. And then we have our lighter, brighter kind of pink red look over here. Both of them have sparkle on the lid. But yeah, I just wanted to show you kind of how these would come together with a lash. So here we have the blue. Move this. And here we have the pink look like this. But yeah, we'll talk more about it at the end of the video. So one last time, here are our two looks with the larger 35 pan palette. But we do have more to talk about, so let's jump into that. Okay, so I have my eyeshadow primer down over here, and I am looking forward to playing with some neutral shades. I love color. 99% of the time I'm dipping into color, but I love neutrals as well, especially when I have some contrast. So we have a black here, we have a bright shade down here, we have beautiful matte tones, and I'm going to start with this pretty kind of yellowy color, like a yellow leaning brown. I'm going to make sure I don't have any creases in my eyeshadow primer. And I'm going to really just kind of like press this right where my socket is. I'm going to bring it up above, and I'm just going to kind of press it on first so that I can really get that pigment on. Such a pretty yellowy brown. And then once I have it pressed on, I'm just going to blend it like this. I'm just using a brush from my Sigma Favorite set right now. And I'm going to go back and forth blending. That's looking pretty so far. So yeah, let me just blend, blend, blend. I just love makeup. I really, really love playing with makeup, testing new things, trying new things. So we're just gonna buff this in, and I'm gonna do the exact same thing over here. Okay, so I've got that shade down. I want to go on the lower lash line, and I want to use this black shade right here. This is called Caviar. So the first shade we use, I don't know if I said, is called Top Tier. So now I'm taking Caviar on my blinged brush. I did put down a little bit of that eyeshadow primer underneath my eyes to help with the intensity. So I don't always do that, but I wanted to try it with this look. So I'm just going to kind of go back and forth, kind of pressing first and then dragging the brush. Okay, I am going to grab the palette again, and we're gonna dip into Oh Baby, the kind of deeper brown shade in this palette. And I'm using another one of my blinged brushes, and I'm gonna pick this up. I'm gonna tap off any excess. We're gonna go right here, kind of on the inner part of my lid, like this. I'm gonna press it on first, kind of like tapping. I'll go in and blend in a minute. Right now I'm just getting the pigment down where I want it, and I'm gonna put it also kind of in the outer corner. I'm gonna let it connect to the black on the lower lash line, and then I'm just gonna press here. I don't want this color to come up too high, and I don't want it to come in the center. I'm not even worried about really blending the center. I'm just gonna blend right in here so I don't have any like harsh lines or anything, and out here so that we have a nice fade. So I'm pressing it there and then blending out. I'm gonna grab back that brush we started with that first shade. What was that called? Top Tier. And I'm just going to blend a bit more right in there. That way we have kind of a nice fade. I may need to spend a little bit longer blending right here. There we go. There we go. I'm just going to kind of swap back and forth between the brushes for a minute so that everything is kind of seamless. And just kind of leave it right there for now. But I do want to kind of buff out the lower lash line. Now that I have this down, I can kind of see it coming together more. So I'm going to pick up my palette and I'm going to jump into this kind of mid-tone brown called City Girl. This one also looks pretty warm tone. I'm going to grab that brush I used with the black. I'm just going to wipe it off a little bit and then I will go into that City Girl shade. And I'm going to buff underneath that black with this brown shade and kind of mesh these two together so that we have the black on the lash line and then it kind of fades into this lighter brown color. So I'm just going to kind of spend a little extra time blending to make sure I have a nice kind of fade right here. I'm going to grab another one of my blinged brushes and we're going to dip into a shimmer now. I think we'll go in with this shade first, this kind of like bronzy gold. This is called Dripping in Gold. I'm going to use my brush and I'm going to pick it up on my brush. I'm going to spray my brush with a little setting spray, makeup mist, whatever you want. Just after I pick up the shadow, just to help me get intensity. Okay, so I'm going to press this shade onto the lid, and I'm just gonna press it in between the mattes. I'm gonna press it right here, and so it's gonna stay in the center. I'm gonna bring it up kind of even higher than my lid, actually. Just lightly, not with the full pigment. Once I have it kind of pressed off of my brush like this, it's in the center, I'm just gonna drag the brush up a bit to kind of carry that on. I'm also going to spend a little more time blending right out here. Try to make that just a little smoother, a little more smooth. Smoother, more smooth. Like that. But I want to highlight the inner corner as well. For that, I'm gonna dip into this shade right here, and then we're gonna use this color to highlight our face, this kind of marbled shade. So Rosé on the inner corner and then double dip on the cheek. Okay, I'm gonna grab the shade Rosé on one of my Sigma brushes, and I'm just going to dust that right on the inner corner. I didn't spray my brush for this shade because I want to just kind of like dust that here, kind of wrap it around a little bit so that we have this really pretty glow right there. That is really a pretty shade. That would be pretty too, maybe really lightly as a highlighter if you have deep skin, or a blush topper maybe. Like I could maybe use that as a blush topper. And then I'm going to grab a brush and we're going to put double dip on as a face highlighter. See how that looks. I do have on blush already. I'm wearing the new blush from Give Beauty. This is Feelin Cheeky Amplifying Blush Duo in the shade Honeymoon Phase. So that's the blush I have on, but I don't have any highlighter on. So let me grab a brush and we'll kind of sweep this shade across the cheekbones, the nose. We'll see how it goes. Okay, I'm just gonna grab another one of my blinged brushes and we'll see. Let me get my hair out of my face and we'll just kind of dust it on. This is a fluffy brush, but it's not super big, you can see, because I want to control where this highlight goes because it has some really pretty shimmer to it. Oh, that's pretty. Now, if you're new, I'm Heather. I am not a makeup artist at all. I am just loving makeup, and I like to have fun with makeup. I think you should wear your makeup how you want to wear it. Makeup for me is not here to make me or anyone else look better. Better for who? You right now, no makeup, 10 out of 10. No, 11 out of 10. With makeup, 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10. It's just for fun. Self-expression, you know? And then what I'm gonna do is probably do a little more blending. I feel like I can spend an extra few minutes blending. I'm gonna put on eyeliner, and I think I'm just gonna do a really light lash, maybe my Ardell 113s. All right, y'all, here is my finished look. I am really feeling myself in these neutral tones. I do have thoughts to share. First of all, congratulations to Meredith Duxbury. She is beautiful and talented, and congratulations for getting to collab with Morphe. I always love seeing creators get to work with their favorite brands. Always happy to see creators succeeding, living out their dreams. So let's kind of talk about this collection piece by piece. I really like this brow set. This has had my brows in place. It lays them down. This seems like a good strong hold. I mean, it says sculpting and shaping wax. So I was hoping for something strong hold, and my brows do not feel weird, crunchy, stiff, nothing like that. It's just keeping them in place. I really like this applicator. I really like this brow gel. Very happy with that. We'll continue using it. And again, I'll continue using all of this stuff, and I'll be following up. But the gloss, I don't think I will be using this a lot. I don't do looks really where I put gloss on my eyes or on my cheeks. If I use a liquid highlighter, it's usually not in this type of formula. I felt it was a little sticky on the lips, but that is my personal preference. So I will say that. It's probably just not a product for me. The lip duo, I'm gonna keep using this gloss. The lip liner, I think, is probably better suited for somebody with a lighter skin tone. I definitely think I am several shades deeper than Meredith, so it makes sense. Like, the lip duo should fit her, right? So I like the gloss. I'm gonna keep using this. I will probably pair it with a deeper, darker lip liner, lipstick underneath, something like that. And I think I will pass the lip liner on to a friend who has a light to fair skin tone, because while this doesn't look bad, it's just not my personal preference. I usually go for something a little bit deeper to more contrast with my skin tone. The primer, time will tell, right? Because it's supposed to extend the wear of your makeup. So I'm gonna have to wear this with multiple foundations, multiple days. I will say I have sensitive skin that does break out easily, which not everybody has that skin type. So I am a little bit nervous about a new primer with some of these ingredients. I don't know that I've ever tried a foaming primer before, but I'm gonna keep testing it and I will follow up. It's hard to review a primer like after using it one time, you know, especially when the claims are like, extend your makeup wear. So I'll definitely keep you updated about that. Now, these palettes I think are nice. I really like the looks that I got. I will say I have favorites that are from indie brands, independently owned brands, mostly brands that are a lot smaller, but I wanted to try this palette because I hear from a lot of y'all in my comment section whenever I do reference Morphe or we talk about it in my Sunday like judging new makeup release video. Whenever I talk about Morphe, I get comments saying that outside of the US, Morphe is very accessible. You can shop it in store or it's easy to shop online. It's at a price point that you really like. So when this release came along, I was like, this is my time. This is my time to use Morphe, give you some inspiration, hopefully, if you're planning to shop this collection or shop your stash. This is my time. So I'm happy that I bought this palette. Obviously, I did not use all 35 shades. I think I only used like 12. So I'm gonna use the rest of the shades. I did not have the easiest time blending, especially with the deep dark shades. I love deep, dark, dramatic looks. So I have not seen anybody else like review this. I don't watch reviews if it's something that I'm personally going to be testing and trying. So I don't know what everybody else is saying about this, but I want to play with this more, of course. But yeah, I think the colors are very, very pretty. We have a nice selection. I like that we have pinks, greens, blues. I just did not have the easiest time with blending, but I'm gonna keep using it and testing it and trying it. The same thing with this smaller palette, same formulas in the shadows. I think that's kind of how I'm feeling about the items in this collection. I would love to know, did you pick this up? Are you gonna shop your stash? I feel bronzed. I feel glowy for sure, and I'll definitely keep testing and trying this collection. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed seeing 3 looks and swatches. I am starving though. I'm off to grab some dinner. I hope whatever you are doing, you're having an amazing day, and I will see y'all very soon in another video. Make sure to subscribe so my videos keep popping up for y'all, and I'll see you then. Bye.